Hey guys, I'm back with another update. I'll try to keep this one short. I'll try to talk a little faster and not talk over myself and ramble like I normally do. But anyway, everything's growing fine. Everything's growing well. There are a few issues I'm having. I don't know if you necessarily call them issues, but I'll show you something funny. Look at my intakes. Look at the line of algae where it just cuts off on both of the intakes. That's actually from where I do my water change. That's the level that I drain it to, and I spray the pipes with peroxide. I spray everything that's exposed to with peroxide, and you can see the peroxide keeps a top part of the pipes clean, but I have to then pull them out and manually remove that off. So still dealing with some algae. So like I said, my tank's going through a little adjustment because of the new CO2 regulator that I hooked up. So now I have a more of a steady CO2 injection, which is obviously better for the plants and keep everything more stable, but I still haven't dialed it in yet. And Marilyn Guppy from the Planet Tank Forum, he mentioned, that maybe my reactor isn't very efficient, which I actually am starting to lean that way. I think I said it before, because I think it has to do with the length of the hose and all the bends that I have in it is slowing down the flow a little bit. It's not that bad, and I'll show you from the top view. So that output is CO2. And you can see it's causing some surface agitation up there. I'll show you dirty up top. So I mean, it's moving water. It could be better. So you can see the difference. Now this is a spray bar, but you can see the amount of surface agitation that has. Again, it's a spray bar and that one's just wide open, so of course it's going to be a little different. But so it's something I'll have to work on, because I am pumping a bunch of bubbles through that. I'm injecting a lot of CO2. And maybe the amount of surface agitation has something to do with that. Maybe I'm off-gassing some. But I'd rather be safe than sorry. I'd rather inject more CO2 and have a good amount of surface agitation, just for the health of the fish. You can see it's a decent amount, but nothing's breaking the surface. I've pretty much always maintained a nice amount of surface agitation, and without any issues. So you can inject more if you wanted to. And you can see that's green. It's not yellow yet. Usually, maybe in about an hour or two, it'll be yellow. So I don't know that CO2 is the main issue. If you look at the lights, I have them pretty high up now, and just the 4 bulbs on. And if you guys remember from the forum, years back, I ran all 6 bulbs on this at 9 inches from the top of the tank, and I had some pretty good success. I mean, really beautiful plants. Everything looked well. Everything was colored up. Had some algae, but I think I also had maybe 30 or 40 amana shrimp in there at the time, which I think I only have about 5 or 6 in there now. So I will have to get some more of them. They are a must for a Planet Tank. I do need to get some more of them. And you know what? Maybe that's just my answer, just to get some more amana shrimp. But I would like to really figure out what the culprit is, which of course I know it is. And if you could, I mean, it's light and ferts and CO2, but it's hard to tell from just the video. But just with 4 bulbs, that's a lot of light. Maybe it's the color. Maybe it's the color of the bulbs. Maybe I should change it up. Try some purples and blues or whatever. But it is a ton of light. Again, I'm not complaining. It's just little things I'll have to figure out. So I'm going to be putting up a for sale post either today or tomorrow. Mostly these guys, the L Aromatica Mini, just because it's kind of, they're starting to encroach on the Kimberly back there. Kimberly's looking good. Color's coming in great on the tips on the new plant, on the new growth. And I want to admit something a little embarrassing. So EI dosing, which is what I do, estimated index dosing from, Tom Bar. For a 75 gallon tank, it's for micros, it's 3 1/16 of a teaspoon, right? So for each dose of using Plantex or CSM plus B. Well, accidentally, since I was always doing that, and let me just start from the beginning. I broke my dosing bottle, so I would pre-make the doses and then just dump the liquid in. So I just pre-make them in a bottle. I'll show you. It's just a bottle like this, right? So this is one I have to actually make again for macros for my 20 long. So it's just a 500 milliliter bottle, and I would pre-make the doses and then just dose as needed. Well, I broke the bottle and cracked the bottle, I should say, and I've just been dry dosing macros. Well, I'll pull the spoons out. So when I dose micros, I also use a 1/64 teaspoon for iron. Well, I don't know how I did it, but I just got confused between the two and just started dosing my micros with that 1/74 teaspoon instead of the one. So I was dosing with a dash instead of a pinch. And I think that's where a lot of my color was going from the plants. Also, I started dosing more macros, and that changed the color of the plants. So it's not showing in this video. I'm going to see if I can adjust the camera a little better. But the Ludwigia is really starting to color up. So I actually noticed this after the last week's video. I'm looking at the spoons, and I showed you the spoons in the video. I'm looking at them, I'm like, wow, I don't know how I missed that for a couple weeks, but I was doing it for a few weeks, so I was actually underdosing micros, and yeah, the plants were not liking it. Now, coincidentally, overdosing the macros in the beginning and everything, it was helping out a lot. So now, after this full week of going back to normal dosing of the micros, plants are starting to respond even more better. So I'm happy about that. And I was doing that to this and the 20 long. So my human error, but that's why you should just make the premixes, putting the dry stuff in. It's not going to hurt, but you're going to maybe not as stupid as me, but the human error is going to happen. So it's a lot easier if you just pre-mix it and then add the stuff in. This way everything's in there. There's 30 mil of this or whatever. You'll know what's in there. So the guys back there, the Pantanal, I only have one left, and the reason being is they start growing well. They're going good. They're small. It's hard to see them back there, but probably once or twice a week, I'm thinking it's a Roselines. Roselines, pull them out, and I'll find them up here in the power head. And it's not like they just fell out. No, it's because it's pretty much almost everything in that pot, in that Tupperware back there, is pulled out overnight. So it's these guys just being curious and picking them out. So we'll see. But I'm probably going to end up having to talk to Burr again and buying some more off him when he grows some more, when he's ready to trim anyway. So let me speed this up. I'm at 8 minutes already, but I want to show you the 20 long. So that's pretty much it. But I'm going to put a for sale sign up, or for sale post up for some of this stuff for these guys. Stargrass, the Aromatica Mini, the moss. Definitely need to get rid of some of that. I keep saying I'm going to do something with it. I don't know if I am. I can't find anything that I want to do with it, and every time I look at the tank, my vision changes. I just have to think of something and just stick with it. But anyway, I'll put all this stuff up. Blocks is doing good. I don't even know how many there are now, but that's multiplying like crazy. All right. Tank's a little messy right now. Well, they both are. So, 20 fish, right? So, I'll say 20 black neons in 2 weeks. Of course, I'm going to notice something with the tank, right? So, a little ammonia spike. Tank is a little cloudy. So, I'm doing 20% water changes every other day. The fish are fine. There's one fish I'm going to try to catch. I'm going to try to stay. I'm probably not going to stay under 10 minutes at this point, but I'll make this as quick as possible. See that fish right there? See that on him? Oh, he flips around, it's on his other side. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's fungus. Let's see if he flips around. There he is. I lost him. I don't know which one he is. So there's a spot on his, and he's the only one. I don't know if he just got caught in the impeller, or not impeller, in the power head. I'm not sure exactly what happened to him. But he's got a spot on him, so I'm going to keep an eye on him. These fish are going to stay in here for a while. These are quarantined to this tank. quarantined in this tank and eventually going to be going into the 75. But I don't know what's wrong with him. If you guys, I don't know, if maybe you watch the video, you can pause it and see that. I'll try to catch it again. But I don't know. Try to focus in here. See, I didn't rip out the algae leaves. I didn't trim this tank. Oh, that's another thing. The AR Mini, I'm going to be selling off a lot of this stuff too. So I'll pull off algae, of course. I got to trim this down, get a little lower, thinking about right here to get allow some new growth to come in. But all right, I can't find that guy, but he has some. It's just on one side. It's just so. Maybe it's fungus. I don't know. Maybe I'll treat the tank for fungus. Just treat the whole tank. I don't know if that's going to hurt anything. Honestly, not a big fan of putting chemicals in there, but if I have to save the fish, I will. So if you guys can recommend anything, maybe just a precautionary treatment I could put in here, that'd be great. So I do have some, oh, real quick. Yeah, I'm 11 minutes now, okay. So algae, and I know the reason. My fault, again, with both tanks. Always, of course it's my fault. I don't even want to take care of them. But I had the timer set for the CO2 to turn off. So I go to bed at 9 o'clock. So I have my lights set to go off at 9 o'clock. I have the CO2 set to go off at 8 o'clock. So it's an hour before lights go off. Well, this tank, when I was setting up the timer, so I got this timer here. It comes with the, well, it doesn't come with the beam work, but it works with the beam work. It screws in to the side of the beams work, lights, which is a really nice timer, works well. But I had it set to go off at 10 o'clock. Now it's military time, so you have to set it for military time. I had it set to go off, I'm sorry, it was at 10 o'clock. So that means for 2 hours it wasn't getting any CO2 injection. So 8 o'clock the CO2 shuts off, and 9 o'clock if the lights will go off, that's fine because there's still CO2 in there. But then we'll go for another hour. So I just realized that Saturday night I actually ended up staying up a little past 9 and the light was still on. And yeah, I know I'm old. So I ended up fixing it. So hopefully that will help me out there with some of the algae in this tank. Because yeah, I don't even know what kind of algae that is back there, but it's not pretty. So we'll see in the next couple weeks. I'll do a lot of manual removal and see how it goes from there. So all right, guys, I won't keep you any longer. Thanks for watching. And again, if you saw that fish, if you can help me out, that'd be great. And any other advice, of course, I'm always willing to take any advice. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Bye.